Welcome back to Brutally Honest Reviews, only on the Brutally Honest Network. Today we're reviewing Venom. And we're here today with Rob, Ryan, and Mark.
What's up?
Two new guests. Ryan, you want to tell everybody what you do?
Besides be my best friend?
Yeah, Rob's my dad, so thanks for bringing me to this.
My pleasure.
I'm looking forward to when you have to awkwardly tell me that you don't want me on the podcast. I work in sales. I'm a sales manager. Not much to talk about. It's kind of boring.
Mark?
I'm a carpenter and actor. So
Cool.
pretty much it, man.
Awesome. So going into Venom a little bit, I am not too familiar with DC Comics, so
Marvel.
It's Marvel.
is it Marvel?
Yeah.
What?
You fucked up, boy.
Did I fuck up?
A little
Big
bit.
time.
Isn't Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
DC?
Hopefully you're more familiar with Marvel.
Spider-Man's in the Avengers.
Fuck, you're right. I guess Spider-Man is Marvel. Okay, so just so everybody is
No,
now
that's
briefed.
good because you weren't familiar with DC, so this will go much smoother.
So Rob, what is DC?
DC is trash.
Batman's.
Yeah.
What is so go into the backstory of Venom a little bit as you know it, because I know you said you read up in the comics a bit.
Okay, well,
Both of you.
My backstory knowledge of Venom is. How's yours? Yeah, that's about mine. I don't have any.
it's pretty good. He's my favorite comic book character. It was actually created by the same creator of Spawn, Todd McFarlane. And he starts off being he comes from outer space. The race is called the Clintar. I forget the name of the planet right now, but comes down from the Life Foundation. So the origin story in this movie is actually not that bad and not that far off. The main difference is that he doesn't come down and take control of Spider-Man.
Not that far from the comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, so he does take control of Spider-Man in the comic book?
Yeah.
That's his first.
That's his first host on Earth. Yeah.
Oh, so Spider-Man 3 got something right.
One thing. Right.
That's how I remember it from the old cartoon.
Yes. The old cartoon is...
The old 90s cartoon was Spider-Man
That was almost
first,
perfect.
And then, okay.
Yeah. The old cartoon, if you watch that, you've basically seen the actual origins of Venom. And Venom spawns a whole bunch of different symbiotes on Earth. The ones in this movie are actually his spawns, but in this they're just other organisms. Which, they did it alright. I wasn't mad at it.
What do you think of the main villain?
Honestly, wasn't a big fan. He
Me
looked
neither.
cool.
I like
but
the actor.
They didn't develop him
The
enough.
actor. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he was very quick, almost.
Yeah, everything was just bam, bam, bam. I mean, the really only character development in this movie was Eddie Brock and Venom. And slightly his ex-fiancée.
Yeah.
Not really though.
Slightly.
She
It was slight, yeah.
she had no.
She did grow a little bit.
They tried, but like we're skipping ahead, but like in like 3/4 of the movie when she ends up kissing him as the symbiote and joining him and etc. It came out. It was out of nowhere.
It was very ironic that she was a perfect match. Also, that's all I was thinking about. I was getting way too nerdy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was either that she was a perfect match or just that he was only control of her for so little of amount of time that the negative effects didn't get to take hold.
That's what I thought.
That's
how I
think.
took
because
that.
I mean, if not, the dog's dead.
That's true.
And she didn't die.
Right.
Do you think it's a time thing?
I think, it leeches off of you. It is kind of a parasite. I mean, it damages your organs and all that.
I mean, the first couple were they were quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, out, done, see you later.
I mean, that's how Riot sprang from host to host so quickly. I think the only real match that he had was the old Asian woman that he used to get to America. Because he was with that host for the longest amount of time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the last one was quick.
Yeah, it was just the little girl, and then he went right to Carlton Drake.
Right.
Yeah, that
So-
came out of nowhere. I feel like a lot of
Well,
you said that a lot of stuff
Flight
came
from
out of
China is
nowhere.
pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without going into too much detail, what did you think of the movie initially, like as a whole? Did you like it as a whole before we go into it, Rob?
There was more good in this movie than bad for me. I mean, there's definitely a lot of problems with this movie, mainly with the writing, the villain, and the lack of character development overall. But what this movie got right, and what's most important that it got right, was it got Eddie Brock and Venom right. Eddie wasn't an asshole in this like he started out in the comics, but their dynamic worked, and there's definitely something to build off there.
They had to make him more sympathetic.
He was, but I mean, in the comics, he was bad.
Yeah.
Like, he was a severe asshole. In this, he was just... Yeah. He really was the anti-hero in this. Because it built off the Lethal Protector comic of Venom, where he went from straight-up villain to anti-hero, kind of like the Punisher, to where he's a bad guy you can kind of root for, does good things, but also does a lot of bad things.
Right. Yeah, I actually really like the dynamic between Eddie, Brock, and Venom that they had in this. I thought they did it well.
Yeah, that was the best part. That was all the laughs of the movie. All the jokes came through there. That was the best that you could take from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on it? The same thing?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it. I looked it up before we went. There was like 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like, you know that there's gonna be something wrong with a movie that's like 30%.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't go by that.
You can't go by that, but you know that there'll be something wrong, and your concerns are like, all right, if it's the bad acting or if the plot holes are too glaring, is it gonna be so annoying that I'm not gonna be able to enjoy it?
Yeah,
and
too many.
That wasn't the case. I could
I've been seeing in a lot of
movie.
Marvel movies and like how the comic book movies, like there's like major plot holes in a lot.
It's
of them.
because they did this right. They didn't try to make this such a huge stakes, gigantic movie. They kept it very centralized.
Almost a B movie. It was. Yeah. I saw an article. It was this is an instant bad movie classic. Like, people are gonna it'll do well on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie kind of reminded me of that movie Upgrade that came out.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
That guy in STEM, that's what's in him, is called. They kind of had the same almost dynamic going, where you could hear STEM inside his head and it would be talking to him throughout the movie. It was kind of a lot of like...
That voice was great.
The Venom voice?
Venom
voice.
Yeah. That was Tom Hardy too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's good at voices.
He's good at voices.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because I don't like the voice of Brock. I wasn't feeling it.
Well, that's the thing. He
now you bring that up.
He did the Brooklyn accent pretty well.
Was this voice better than Bane?
Yes, you could understand it.
Not more iconic.
It wasn't. No,
the Bane voice.
It's never going to be
imitatable.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be as iconic as the Bane voice. But I thought
there was a lot. It was like a lot of mumbly Bane. That's what I was feeling. Mumbly, raspy Bane.
With Venom or with Eddie?
With Eddie Brock. No, I actually liked the Venom voice. I thought that.
Yeah, the Venom voice worked. I mean, I thought he sounded like a douchebag from Brooklyn.
Well, that's a good point.
The shitty voice for me came after he was with Venom, but I understood why it was happening because it was between hearing Venom's voice and dealing with all that shit in his head.
Kind of combine the two.
Like, he actually had a mental disability in a way when Venom was taking over his body.
Yeah, see, actually, that's when I didn't mind it. Like, when he was mentally going crazy, and that's how he was. Like, I thought that gelled pretty well.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the movie. I liked it initially. I don't have like a huge knowledge of Spider-Man and Venom and
or
that
DC
whole backstory.
DC
Or
your lack of knowledge on the DC universe really that hurts.
Yeah. The fact that I didn't know he was DC.
If we had a fallout, oh boy, would they be upset.
I know my X-Men. I know some of my Marvel, but mainly just X-Men.
You want me to go over the property rights for you real quick?
No, that's okay.
It is quick. Marvel Comics.
I'd rather you just email a PDF afterwards.
I'm not going to do that.
That's fine.
Marvel is Disney. Disney owns Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios just bought Fox. Sony owns Spider-Man and all those rights, but they rented Spider-Man specifically off to Marvel Studios so he can be in the Avengers comics. Sony is completely different from the Marvel Universe, but it uses all the Spider-Man characters. And they can still use Spider-Man if they wanted to.
So they could use the rented Spider-Man?
What was that?
They could, like, the one that the
Tom
MCU
Holland?
is- Yeah.
Technically, they could. That's their character. And they did release Spider-Man Homecoming. That's a Sony movie
Okay.
in combination with Marvel Studios.
And you thought this movie might get merged somehow.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
But right when you saw the origin, there's no way you can. Spider-Man would have had to have been in the first 30 minutes of this movie for them to connect it all.
Yeah.
Now you can't go back. You can't give the symbiote to Spider-Man. So if they do end up doing the black suit at all, it's going to be kind of tough, I would say,
Well,
for it
unless
to
they
make sense in gel.
they probably won't make it make sense in jail. They'll probably just
Yeah.
put the movie out and take the money.
I'm
I
fine
feel like
with
they
that.
might even
I'd
wait
watch that.
until
I'll
after
pay
the
them my money.
MCU to introduce the Spider-Man into like a Batman.
I mean, they
movie
could
or
do
something.
they could do a Miles Morales Spider-Man
Yeah.
in this universe right now at the same time. He's technically a different person.
Have you seen the animated Spider-Verse movie coming
That's
out?
the
boy.
Spider-Man that they could put in. The kid that plays that
Oh
Spider-Man.
yeah. Well,
So-
they have like all the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That they have a pig Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So is that in the comics too?
Yeah. Miles Morales is a relatively new
That actually looks
version of
funny.
Spider-Man.
The trailer for that.
Yeah.
Like old man Spider-Man.
Now,
you're
is
like,
that
"Ah."
the
I saw it, I
Spider
was like, they
Pig
really
from the
made a
Simpsons
Spider
movie?
Pig. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Because you know the
made a
Spider
Spider
Pig.
Pig.
Spider Pig.
I didn't think of that.
I don't either.
I think that's Spider Pig.
I
from
thought
the
they actually
Simpsons
had a
movie.
If they
Spider
could
Pig
tie that
thing.
in somehow, that would be awesome.
And I'm
Homer
not.
Simpson come walking out in the middle
That'd
of the
be pretty
Spider-Man
funny.
movie.
I mean, the pig almost sounded a little bit Homer Simpson-ish, like very stupid
Is that
and
possible?
slow.
Could that happen?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Only time will tell.
Mind blown.
That's too ridiculous of a cross. That's too ridiculous.
Is it though?
It's like yeah, kind of. I don't
Or
know.
is it so
Is
ridiculous
it
it
so
works?
ridiculous that it works? Yeah.
Simpsons predicted Trump's presidential election. I don't know if I'm okay with them crossing with Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because then maybe like a real Spider-Man will pop up somewhere.
I mean, it's better than Trump.
Yeah, that was creepy, right? The whole Simpsons thing. The guy's hand goes up, the paper falls, and the guy's hand go up, the paper falls.
I was talking about the one with I've only seen in memes where the Trump's riding the elevator because he's just been elected president.
You gotta watch the whole video, like side
There's
by
a
side to
long
the actual
YouTube
thing
clip,
that's going
yeah,
on.
where it shows all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh
creepy.
shit!
Yeah, Simpsons have like
Matt Groening's a time
9/11
traveler.
stuff and like
He's a
a
time
whole
traveler.
bunch of crazy things.
Isn't
Yeah,
it just
his
Damn.
next show is
It's like
Futurama. Like, what?
So creepy.
So
Anyway,
in this movie, so we start in Venom. We start with seeing this guy who works for the newspaper company. Was a reporter. Works as a reporter for this company. He gets this chance to go see this owner of the Life Foundation, run by what's his actor's name? I forget his
Riz
douchey name.
Ahmed.
What?
Riz Ahmed
That's his name?
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then I was wrong with who I thought it was.
Yep.
So he's basically the owner of the Life Foundation. Who? What do they basically do besides be a parallel to Elon Musk?
A little
and-
bit of an
and
Elon
Tesla?
Musk. nod, yeah.
Oh, he's
they like
I love
cancer
that.
and cancer and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
it's
Oh,
a
does it Elon Musk
medical
do that
company.
Probably now at this point.
Pro-
yeah,
he
it's a
could if he
medical
wanted
company.
to.
Isn't that where he got all his money from?
Yeah.
So he can do all the space
pharmaceuticals and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So this guy, what does he work for? Like this medical conglomerate who does all this other shit, super parallel to Tesla. 'Cause he's
I
doing
love
space
the idea that
exploration.
Elon Musk also has a bunch of armed goons that can go fight for him.
He might.
He definitely
might.
does. He's
probably got a
absolutely.
Use-
Yeah.
No one
use
casually smokes a
flamethrowers.
blunt on Joe Rogan without having an entire army of
Doesn't even
drones
know
at
how
his
to smoke.
disposal.
I wouldn't call it casual. He did it like an alien.
Yeah.
This is the least cool person.
So So he goes to interview this guy with this huge medical company
About the space program.
program specifically, but jumps into the pharmaceutical testing and all this controversial shit.
All the lawsuits
Because
that
his
had,
fiance is a
stuff.
lawyer and is working his case, and he hacked into her emails.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot that's a major thing because he fucks up his entire
She
life.
was pissed.
Cool.
And she got fired.
So what's his name? Elon Musk of this movie says
Let's call him
no
Elon
more
Musk.
questions.
Yeah.
Your career's
Let's say
over.
night of Elon Musk.
So everybody, what's his name? Tom Hardy character. What's his name?
Bane.
Bane. What's his name in the movie?
Eddie Brock.
Venom.
Eddie Brock. So Eddie Brock gets he loses his job. His girlfriend loses her job. She breaks up with him, and he ends up basically just becoming, a bum, drunk,
bum.
just living in his apartment and
Off
going out for
tater
beers
tots.
and whatnot. Off tater tots.
Yeah.
Best friends with a homeless woman.
Best friends of
They are
homeless
on
woman
the
named
best
Maria.
terms.
Well,
yeah.
that's all his money goes to is the homeless woman. Apparently.
Yeah, shut her up.
6 months without a job, and then he's like, "Here's $20."
He was very casual about dropping that
That's
20.
nice.
Yeah.
It must be tough to live in San Francisco.
Right?
So expensive and to do without a job.
I mean, Boston is just
San
as
Francisco.
expensive. Yeah, it is. Do you want to bet? Well, living in San Francisco
Yeah.
and in Boston are the same. But yeah, it is.
I think San Francisco is like one of the most expensive
So
cities
is Boston,
to live in.
though, isn't it?
No, but it's in the
You
city.
see that house that he had in San Francisco? That's like a couple million.
It wasn't too far from the homeless lady. It's got to take the property value down a little bit. Touche, I got you there, didn't I?
Maybe.
You can leave.
A little bit.
There's tons of homeless. San Francisco is letting the homeless in. Now they're shitting on the streets.
It's a
What is it,
sunny
South Park?
day in San Francisco.
California is where the homeless.
I forgot about that.
It's true. South Park gets it right.
All the time.
This is really going to turn away our homeless viewers. I feel like we're making enemies.
Should have thought.
Put just after edit in like a positive thing about homeless people at the end.
Like the movie Traffic about.
Exactly. We'll say something nice.
By the way, this is a shitty movie, but there's a real
There's
problem
a real good message
happening.
there.
So Ed Hardy. I'm just kidding. Ed. What's his name? Eddie
Brock.
Eddie Brock. Loses his job. He's homeless. He's a loser. He's not homeless. He's a loser who has homeless friends. He can't speak up for himself from the rock neighbor who lives across from him, who just plays the guitar all day, super loud. So he just goes to sleep. Anyway, he just goes about his day, and this is my only problem, really. My main problem with this movie is he just goes about his day randomly, and all of a sudden he just starts interrogating, just talking to himself in the convenience store he goes to with Miss Chen, and we find out a couple minutes later that he picked up on the assistant to Riz Ahmed.
Just call him Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, night of Elon
Elon
Musk's
Musk's
assistant.
Right.
Yeah.
How would she know that he exists?
Because he was doing
And-
the big interview and got kicked out of it.
No,
It's a pretty
because
big
because
deal.
the homeless lady was already there, so maybe she connected with the homeless lady.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
But also remember,
No, homeless city was missing at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They already had her.
Oh.
Elon Musk already had her.
yeah. But also remember,
Maybe.
she was always at the Life Foundation. Eddie Brock interviewed him at the Life Foundation. It was a pretty big deal when he was doing the story. So she would have known of him.
But why would she have jumped to the conclusion that he's the person this reporter can help?
Because he was trying to expose him in the first place.
Yep.
I guess, but
That
That's
part
what he
makes
did.
sense.
That's what he did.
That's why he got kicked out
Yeah.
of the interview.
I'm with that. It makes sense, but it's a little bit.
Well,
She
yeah,
could've-
that's.
she could've
I mean, this
followed him
movie
from
was
his house.
this
There's-
movie was badly written. I can see where they were going with it. They
Yeah.
didn't connect it as much as they should have.
That was
but
the
that's
big
what they were
plot
going
hole.
for.
Yeah.
well, because we didn't see her actively start seeking him out ever. We just
No,
jumped
it
in.
just happened.
rushed
It just
just
happened.
kinda- It was one of those
the
quick
first
things.
hour of the movie
Like, oh,
is
what?
Yeah,
it's like it's slow and rushed at the same
Yeah.
time. It's they have to get through enough backstory. So there's so many quick scenes that it's okay.
Sure.
I guess this like when the blonde girl just
Those
shows
like
up
Civil War.
and infects Night of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
that happened completely out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and
And
it's
how did she
okay. I
get
guess
in the
he's
Life
now
Foundation?
exactly. They give us none of that. They didn't have time for it, and I'm fine with it because I'd rather it that than it be boring.
Yeah.
It was an entertaining movie because it did feel pretty quick.
Yeah, there was no point where I was like, I'm not entertained right now. Really.
yeah.
You want to hear something a bit funny about this movie, though? Back when the trailer was first released, Jenny Slate, that's the doctor, she kept on calling it a symbiote, and everyone was fucking pissed the way she was pronouncing it.
Really?
So they must have gone back and do reshoots to her pronouncing it
No,
correctly.
I feel like she was still saying it kind
She
of
still
like that.
she said symbiote, but she was calling it a symbiote.
No, I feel like I heard her
I
say
thought I was saying.
symbiote a few times.
She made me think that symbiote is the way to say it.
Yeah.
Everyone was pissed that she was saying it like that. They're like, are they gonna pronounce it like this, or is they just letting her fuck
seemed
up?
That's
wrong
like people
to
saying
me.
caramel and caramel. It's like the
But
same
I
thing,
thought,
huh?
well, the movie must be getting it right, so I'll take the movie's advice.
But it's only
because she's
her.
the only one that really says. Well,
Yeah.
Night of Elon Musk does it a little bit, but for the most part, because she would say it loudly too.
Yeah.
She goes symbiote. We call them. She says at one point, an exact line. We call them symbiotes.
Yeah, and she does a real hard oats.
Yeah. Maybe she just liked oats, man.
I don't
You get
know.
both.
But everyone was pissed. They should have gone back and fixed that in reshoots.
That's fine.
I wasn't mad.
I picked up on it.
You were mad?
Not mad,
He was
but I thought it was a
furious.
little silly.
Like the third time she did
Pissed.
it, Rob was cursing.
grabbing Ryan.
Saying symbiotes!
Grabbing Ryan and pinching him real hard on the
I
thigh.
know. I took the brunt out of it. Stop saying it.
To give a backstory, leading up to this movie, like the first thing we see, we forgot it, is these symbiotes come crashing to Earth in this spaceship, and they burn up in the atmosphere. And I guess most of them are destroyed.
No,
No. Only,
two get out.
No, one gets out.
I said most.
Oh, they say one gets out.
There was 5 there. They recovered 3.
Right.
2 got away.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought they said only one.
And one
Okay,
of
so
them-
most were unsalvageable.
2 got away?
no,
Two got
no,
away.
because 2 of them
How do we know 2 got
later.
away?
well, one's Riot.
Yeah, and what's the other one though?
Carnage.
Do we
No,
see that?
We don't
Nope.
see. We don't.
So
no.
we assume
It
that.
has to be.
No, because 2 of
Wait,
them died.
there was
Do they
one
ever?
more.
Do they ever
Yeah.
reference the 5? They do, don't they?
Yeah.
2 of them died.
Ah.
See, in the comics, Carnage is a spawn of Venom. And it happens because Eddie Brock just leaves one of the symbiote's seeds in the jail and it takes over.
Yeah,
Queen's
Rob's right.
castle.
I forgot. I didn't realize that.
But
Yeah, but
I
it's gotta
think
be.
in this one, the 5th missing symbiote's going to be Carnage.
Because they do say we got 3 of them, and they did have 5, didn't they?
And one was Riot.
So the one that escaped is Carnage.
But that's not.
that's my guess.
That's not in the movie at all. They don't.
No,
Besides
no.
the fact that they say we only have 3 left, they
Yep.
don't reference it. They don't show a clip of
Nope.
like a red. Okay, yeah.
That's just my guess. That the 5th missing one, the only one not accounted for is Carnage.
Comics are so fucking vast. There's so much money to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's
so
also
crazy.
You
different.
can do anything.
Yeah.
Really. Look at Superman.
Yeah.
He can literally do anything.
Well,
Unless somebody throws kryptonite at him.
fuck DC.
Yeah, fuck DC.
Yeah,
Shit
I don't
movies.
know. I'm not a DC fan.
Terrible.
I'm
Terrible
Marvel all
movies.
the way. I
Marvel,
mean,
you didn't even know what. You didn't even know what Venom was. What are you talking about?
I don't like Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man.
I like spiders. I don't like Spider-Man.
It's fine.
But so the beginning, all of these symbiotes crash to Earth. They recover 3, and they lose 2. One is the one that ends up becoming
Riot.
Riot,
Right, yeah.
and
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
A real letdown villain. It just happens.
It
wasn't
It did
different
just- yeah,
enough
you
from
never really
Venom.
got to see
it was
it
just kind of an
too long. You didn't get to
upgraded
see it
Venom,
too
but
long.
not in
Yeah.
like not in a way that it was like
Well,
there was something new to it.
In the
was just kinda
comics,
like,
that's
okay.
really all they are.
Yeah.
The spawns of the symbiotes are always stronger than the generation before.
I didn't enjoy it
And-
as much as I liked the T-1000 compared to the Arnold Terminator.
That's fine.
That's
fair.
If you're using that as a
Yeah.
reference of how cool it
Yeah.
could have been, this was like, yeah.
Also, the Riot in the comics uses bludgeoning weapons instead of...
Slicing.
Yeah,
you did.
this kind of uses like Carnage's weapons. The comics he uses like hammers, maces, things like that. He still does
He
the
did
spikes
have-
come out of his
yeah,
back.
the,
Should they have had Carnage in this movie?
I feel like that's a bigger villain.
With the way they started it,
Do you think it would have taken away from it being a Venom movie?
Yeah.
It would have, wouldn't it?
because Carnage is so much fucking cooler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carnage is like...
I know.
Is
That's
the
I hope
villain.
I
Yeah.
hope they still
He's
do. This movie
Spider-Man's-
will be successful, right? Like
It already
didn't
made back
like,
its budget.
Yeah,
It
did
made
really
80
well.
million in America and
So
200
they'll do
and
a
something
sequel because
worldwide.
I really want the
They will.
sequel.
So Carnage is just another symbiote.
In the comics, it's a spawn of Venom. Like, every symbiote has 5 seeds in it. And in the Lethal Protector, which is kind of what this is based off of, Venom's originally the only symbiote that comes to Earth.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
extract the other symbiotes from him. One is naturally done from Carnage, and the rest the Life Foundation actually take out of Venom and create Riot, I think Scream, and a couple other ones. I forget which.
So they set it up for this one is they could get as many as they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
So we just don't know what
But
the
there's
other
only
ones
one on
are.
the left, so unless they do the seed thing
Yeah.
with Carnage,
Yeah.
if Carnage has a seed himself,
Yeah.
then they could kills Carnage in the next movie.
I hope
But
they
a
don't
seed
don't.
is taken, and then there's another Carnage
Yeah.
on Carnage Squared.
In itself, it's a good concept to finally be put on film, because then it has not been in any other Spider-Man movie. I haven't heard of anything. I haven't seen all of them, but I haven't heard of anything like this in the movies.
Well, they tried using Venom in the third Spider-Man
garbage.
movie with Tobey Maguire.
but it was not. It wasn't the
trash.
same.
Yeah, it was
though.
very bad.
It wasn't the
They
same
tried
origin. Right? They didn't put the origin in there, right?
Kind of.
No, they
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
That was where they
Yeah,
got the
that
origin
came
right,
down.
didn't they?
Yeah.
It came down in a meteor or something.
Yeah.
And then
Which
it
is
took over,
somewhat
so-
right.
And it had that hilarious montage where he was
Dancing
like, he was trying
and
to be
singing.
cool. Yeah,
That was emo.
that was laugh out
Spider-Man.
loud
Yeah,
funny.
emo
That was
Spider-Man.
It's terrible.
that's the difference between this and like a lot of other entertaining bad movies is that I wasn't like laughing at this movie. I was still
Laughing
laughing
at
with
the
it.
jokes.
I was
Yeah.
it was still I was enjoying it. I wasn't liking it because it was so bad. It's funny.
Yeah.
You know? Like it was still a good movie. It just not
If it was written better, more character development. That's why there's
Like
hope
certain
for a
character
sequel.
development.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
they could have taken back a couple things to give.
If they had developed the villain more, that really would have helped.
I thought Venom's
See,
writing was shit.
And
though.
paced the beginning better.
Yeah.
You thought Venom's writing was shit.
Yeah,
I loved
How
it.
so?
I thought it was a little bit too PG-13. It was a little bit too suggestive.
Called Eddie Brock a
instead of-
pussy.
That pussy line.
That
That got a good
was-
old fashioned laugh.
Oh,
That was funny.
that was my
It was
favorite
too
line.
cheap for me, though. It
That
should have
was
been
perfect.
That was
should have been
perfect
more.
timing.
The way it was cut from him saying "Jump, Eddie," and then he clicks down the elevator. Pussy. Perfect.
I think my problem is that if this movie was not made for PG-13 to try to get more of the kids in there, and it was R,
would've
everybody
been much
here
better.
would have been way happy.
It would have been much better, sure.
Yeah,
It definitely could have been better, but I mean,
Because you can make an R-rated movie real.
The only real difference between PG-13 and R is swearing and sexual situations.
It's not the only difference, though.
They
There's
could have
something
put more
about
blood
an
on
R-rated
that,
movie
too.
to a PG-13 movie that an R-rated movie feels real.
I would have liked it better as rated
A
R.
PG-13 movie, you can. It just for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it seems like
Cars flying
I never
everywhere.
get lost, and I always feel like I'm watching a movie.
I'm-
You know.
That was weird too. Did you notice that when he like takes out the whole room when Riot?
Yeah. Well, that's
Like it seemed like they grew as he did that.
they did.
And
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of weird.
I'm from the school of thought that I think that no matter what, there should be a copy of an R-rated movie, and they'll just cut it for PG-13.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
what
feel
they're
like-
doing with Deadpool. PG-13 version's coming out December 21st.
Serious?
Oh, no kidding. That should be how.
How could you do that?
No fucking
I don't
idea.
know. There's no money for it now, but like I feel like that.
They have Deadpool on TV and they still don't do PG-13.
Yeah, FX can do swears and everything now.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, FX is amazing now.
He tells too many jokes for that.
I know, and you see his balls.
The whole movie.
You see his little balls.
Yeah.
That whole basic
little
instinct
baby
thing where
leg.
he switches over his crossed
Baby
legs
legs.
and you see his baby schlong.
That was funny.
Fucking gross.
That was funny.
But yeah, they're releasing a
He's walking up to
PG-13
him on
version
his
of
little
that.
baby legs.
If this movie was rated R, it could have been way better, but it still wouldn't have fixed the writing. The only thing it would have done
he's
was
got a point.
the violence was fine in this movie, but you could have added gore to it with the violence.
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of opportunities for
Yeah.
gore in that movie.
Yeah. Like when he bit off the heads, you could get some
Yeah.
blood and tendons and
You
shit.
could get like
ripping
an
out.
It.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. Like,
film
how are you not
scene.
scaring people, scaring kids already, seeing their heads being bitten off? Just throw blood anyway.
And
They know
Venom.
what's happening.
Well, you actually didn't get to see any of the heads, really.
Nope.
You just see
No,
him
they-
do
That's what the
this,
rated
and that
R
was
would have
it.
done.
It was implied.
I'd
Yeah.
take that
You
a step
got it.
further.
Yeah.
I think the
But-
writing would have been better if it was rated R.
Because they-
it would have been more real.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't
'cause they
had
could have went
restrictions,
one
really.
step
She,
further.
Yeah.
you know, like when she was ripping into Eddie, it would have been better if she could cuss at him. You know, like she could
Dickhead.
really tell him
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Or the dinner scene could have been funnier. Like it would have been more real. It always.
I think it would have made
it
just as
seemed
much money.
intentionally held back.
Yeah.
As a PG-13 movie.
If anything, it may have made more money had they made it rated R.
Look how well Logan and
Deadpool
has
did.
done.
Yeah.
They're
Now,
like, oh well, we might not be able to make enough money because the kids aren't going to show up.
Fuck
And then
the
it's like,
kids.
hey, my parents don't care. They're
Yeah.
taking me anyway.
you know what? No, what
Modern-
they should do is make the sequel rated R.
They-
That would be huge.
you have to with Carnage. If Carnage is the bad guy, there is no way you can do him justice.
That would take away any
PG-13.
hesitation someone had for seeing
Because
that
where
movie.
Venom is violent, Carnage is that's all he is. He's
There's
just
no,
gore.
there's no stop.
You can't. No, he's a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Carnage takes over a serial killer's, and that's who he is. Cletus Cassidy's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Did you stay for the mid-credit scene?
No, I didn't know there
You
was one.
fucking fool.
I had gone sitting through Hellfest and then waited an hour to see Venom, and then I went to go
So
home.
mad
you did
all
it.
You
Oh,
fucked
better.
up.
I thought it was none.
The mid-credit scene set up the sequel. Eddie Brock
Yeah.
is back. He's hired because he exposed the Life Foundation. He's back on top as a reporter. He goes to San Quentin prison to interview the serial killer Cletus
We're
Cassidy.
just breaking this to you?
Yeah, I,
Oh, because
I-
we've been
Woody
talking about
Harrelson
Carnage
was
a
just
bunch.
killing it.
No, I
Like
get
we're doing
that.
that because like we,
Yes.
yeah, because we like
And-
they set up a sequel. Like they want to do a
Do
sequel.
you know who is playing Cletus Cassidy?
no.
Woody Harrelson.
Oh, interesting.
He was my number two.
Yeah, he's in like a straitjacket at the end of the
WFH.
movie, and he says, "There's gonna
Woody
be
fucking
carnage,"
Harrelson.
Yeah.
and he gets out.
This guy gets it. He was my number two choice to play Cletus Cassidy, right behind actually Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey.
I'd never
Yeah.
get him to
You
do
want to have
that.
Matthew McConaughey?
No, they wouldn't, but he was my
They were
number
gonna say
one.
Walton Goggins.
He could have done him too.
Only because I know
Maybe
you and
Aaron.
me like him,
Yeah.
and
He
we're
could have
the
done
only
it,
few people.
but he's been getting typecasted a bit as the villain
yeah,
recently. But Woody Harrelson can do very good in this role,
yeah,
and it it really needs to be rated R in the sequel to get Carnage right and to do it justice.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's a serial killer who just goes out and causes complete mayhem.
Yeah.
And it's not like Spider-Man where Spider-Man won't kill someone. This guy, he goes out and kills them.
Yeah, I think that would correct people's concerns with seeing a sequel.
Yeah.
You'd go, oh, all right, well, they're doing it rated R. I think they're going to make it right this time.
They've got to already be working on it right now after that opening weekend. I mean, the production
Well, maybe
budget...
you'll see the podcast right now.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
The production budget on this movie was $100 million. After marketing and all that, it probably cost about $200 million.
Do you think they're going to jump into Venom 2 or Carnage?
It's going to be Venom versus Carnage. That's what it's going to be.
You think
it
so?
It has to be.
Venom v. Carnage.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, they set it up in the mid-credits scene. They made a big deal about casting Woody Harrelson in this movie and not saying who he was playing. And then revealed he was playing Cletus Cassidy in Carnage. They really have to put Carnage in the sequel. There's no way around it.
Well, they already set it up for it.
Yeah, there's no other possible person for Venom. This is a movie where you can't really make more than 3.
Yeah.
And if Carnage is the bad guy in the second one, I don't think they kill him off because there's really nobody else for Venom.
They can almost have like an end scene like how they did this one, but not like have a end credit scene where it's a little bit of him coming out or something.
That would have been cool if they showed actual Carnage. I mean, in the second one, it's gotta be Venom versus Carnage.
Or you know what would have been cool if Woody Harrelson's sitting right there and then Brock walks away and then his eyes go.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Or if he was already Carnage.
Or if you see the thing kind of the
Like,
symbiote
crawl through the window or something.
and latch onto him, that would have been good.
Then that would have been giving you too much.
If Carnage is in the second one, and if hopefully he doesn't die, maybe the third one is Venom and Spider-Man versus Carnage. Because they did that a lot in the comic books, and that was the only way either of them could beat Carnage.
What if that's Spider-Man's third movie?
It could be.
So like
They
the
can't
Spider-Man
do
and
that,
Venom
right?
Yeah.
will be
Sony
the
owns Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse.
Sony owns Spider-Man. They're only renting him off to Marvel. So Tom Holland could have been in this movie. That Spider-Man could have been in this movie.
It would have been too messy. I think that they did with it was probably the best thing to do. Give it its own story because now
I liked
the
it.
hype is bigger.
I like the way they did it. As someone who's a huge fan of Venom, they didn't really make me upset with the origins or how they went about creating him in this movie.
I like when they start off a universe with an origin story.
Yeah. Although
I didn't like Thor's first movie.
it was a little weak, but I still liked it. Origin stories are tough to do and get right.
Yeah. I remember the first X-Men Wolverine one sucked.
Yeah, it was dog shit.
Yeah.
Dog shit.
Logan was fantastic.
That was the only good one in the Wolverine trilogy.
I gotta watch that in New York because I got the 2-disc set, so I'm watching it black and white.
Oh, I want to do that too. Yeah, I almost saw that again in theaters, just because.
It would have been pretty cool.
It was like a heavy contrast movie, so it looks sick in black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, I just haven't had time to put aside to watch it again. But speaking of origin story, the Joker origin story with
the new one,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball. They should have had Willem Dafoe. He's like a perfect face for Joker.
I like Joaquin Phoenix though because everything I see him in, he surprises me with how good he is.
Yeah,
that's what I
true.
like about it.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, he looks like how you.
Well, he's got the voice too, though.
Exactly. But I think he would overact it.
It seems like Joaquin Phoenix really wants it too.
Yeah, he's a fucking psycho. This guy's great.
He is.
I think he's gonna do it all right.
I thought the costume and makeup was a little.
Well, I think
it looks a little too cartoony.
I think that's still him and his clown.
That's what I'm hoping.
You know what I mean?
Hoping it changes a little bit.
Didn't anyone see You Were Never Really Here?
No.
With him? See it.
Gotta.
See it.
Gotta.
It's a good, you know what it
The
is.
Gladiator? I saw that.
I watched that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
The Gladiator?
Yeah.
You can't not watch it when it's on.
It's so good.
It's like, oh, what's on TV? Oh, I'm gonna sit here for 3 hours.
So what did you guys think about like all the fight scenes? Were they like up to par with what you would expect, or any?
I actually really liked the last one. I thought the last one was pretty good. How
I
they
also-
like intertwined.
I like that too.
I also really liked him versus the SWAT team.
That was good. I
Oh,
liked that.
was good.
That was
It's
the
like
one
you
with-
guys really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for being a completely CG character, Venom actually looked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah,
He did.
Like, it didn't look like overly shiny, crappy CGI. It didn't look totally out of place.
That was the scene where it was, all right, we're going to give you all Venom.
Yeah.
It's no Tom Hardy. We're going to give you close-ups of Venom's face. You're going to watch him do a lot of stuff. That was a good one. The ending fight is as good as it's going to be.
It was all right.
It's tough to follow because it's so much CGI.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I like the like you said. I like the meshing between. Like I like them showing
That
that
was
the symbiotes
creative, yeah.
are like aliens, and like it's not superhero versus superhero. It's alien species are overtaking these two people, fighting each other, and shit is going crazy that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
thought it was done about as well as it could have been done.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, as far as CGI fights go, the best one is still probably Hulkbuster versus the Hulk.
That was a pretty good one. That was a good one.
You can get lost in what's going on.
Yeah.
It's going so fast.
There's a whole bunch going on in that
They're
fight.
flying around. It's sometimes it's tough to keep track.
Yeah.
I don't know. That to me kind of takes away from it, but there's no other way you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know.
And because they were so similar in size, too, makes it a little tough. Which is why him fighting Carnage is going to be a little bit easier to do, I think, because Carnage is a little bit
Bigger.
smaller.
Oh, is it small?
Smaller and skinnier, and Venom's just kind of like giant hulking monster.
That was my problem with
Which one's the green one? Is there a green one? I feel like, oh no, maybe it wasn't.
the Hulk. No, he's in DC.
No, the symbiote. Oh wait, that's not Marvel. I mean, DC.
I can't think of a green one.
I feel like I had like a action figure when I was a kid, and it had like a million.
I mean, there is a whole bunch of different side stories and tough stuff too, because I mean, Venom also takes over Deadpool, takes over the Hulk, a whole bunch of shit. In the comics, you don't need a perfect match for symbiotes to take over a host. It's basically just
Well, how
That's
convenient for the
strictly
comic
this
books.
movie thing.
yeah. You can really just take over whoever you want. That's how he's able to go from Spider-Man to Eddie Brock. Because what are the odds you're gonna find two?
So it's an
perfect hosts?
addition to
I
the
thought it was just because Spider-Man
mythos.
was a superhuman.
The
That probably would
match
help. But yeah, you don't need a
Fair
perfect
enough.
match. That's how he can go about.
I think it's a smart addition
Yeah,
to the modern.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense that way.
Yeah.
that way anybody can't just have it.
Otherwise, what's his name? Captain Douchebag wouldn't be so like Elon Musk like
Right.
and terrifying. Not to say Elon Musk's terrifying. That's not.
No,
Creepy. He's
that's what we're saying.
terrifying.
We have all mixed views of that.
No, he's
Of the
terrifying.
He's
a
terrifying.
monster.
What else is
He's terrifying.
He's an alien.
He's an alien.
Watch that podcast with Joe Rogan
Yeah.
and tell me that you're
I
not
listened.
freaked out by this guy.
He goes over the freaking machine uprising, and Joe Rogan goes, "Oh, he just
Yeah, it takes a lot to startle Joe Rogan, and you can tell even he's like.
He just
"Jesus
casually asked him,
I
Christ,
didn't
He's like-
watch it. I just
He's
listened.
like, do you think
this guy."
an AI takeover is imminent?" And Elon Musk just without blinking,
I
Probably.
tried to warn people.
years ago he was talking about it, and now Joe Rogan asked him, he's like, "Oh, so do you think it's possible that we're living in a simulation?" Just casually, "Yeah, it's entirely possible." And Joe Rogan just goes, "Fuck!" Really? Licking his lips because he's so fucking high. He's got cotton mouth to the extreme. But of course, Elon Musk is terrifying. He's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
He's Carnage. No, he's Riot. Sorry.
So, final thoughts on the movie. Rob, what'd you think?
All the problems aside, and there were a lot of problems, especially in the story, the things they got right, I did really like. Like Venom, I really liked. Eddie Brock, I really liked. So I'm probably going to give this about a 7.
What do you think?
My big thing is, would I recommend it to someone else? I'd say yes. I'd confidently tell someone, if you watch this movie, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
It flies by. It's got some good laughs in it. Yeah, is it the best movie? No, but it's definitely worth a watch.
What do you give it in
a rating?
Number grade.
Give it a C+.
C+. Yeah, can I do letters? Because I feel like
C+ out of 10.
C
plus out of 10. Well, that's I guess.
It's like
Yeah.
78.
About a C plus. Nah,
77.
C plus. Yeah.
All right, call it a 77. So, I liked the movie. That was pretty good, and now learning that it's not DC, I have a little bit different
He
thoughts.
likes it a little bit more now.
Yeah, like a little bit more.
Wasn't a Batman character.
Character development was iffy in parts, but I mean, nobody's watching this to call it like the best movie of the year. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. The acting was decent.
Tom Hardy saved this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
if it was anybody else.
If it was anybody
Oh,
else,
boy.
it would have been a sack of shit.
Sure would have.
I thought his accent was shit in the trailer, but that's because I didn't see that the accent only occurred when he was happened to be taken over by Venom, which makes complete sense because when you're hearing the voice like that and it's 50% of your brain, you're gonna have a little bit of a speech impediment. I would assume. So I thought that was kind of actually more clever. After thinking it was stupid in the trailer, watching the movie, it made perfect sense. So, some plot holes, but it was pretty good. What do you think?
Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Really didn't have too many issues with it. Definitely entertaining to watch. I'd recommend watching it, especially if you're just a fan of comic books. It's always fun to watch a comic book movie, and it wasn't horrible. I liked Elon Musk's character. I thought he actually did pretty well with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with you guys. I'm giving it a 7 also. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. It wasn't great. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's amazing, but it was good.
It had
was
its
a good movie.
pacing, writing problems, lack of character development, but the important thing is they got Venom right, I feel.
I feel like you're not gonna leave the movie and be like, oh,
You did-
why did I go see that
I don't
movie?
see how you'd regret seeing it.
Yeah.
Unless you're just one of those people who don't like
Who
to
hate everything.
have fun or enjoy
Yeah.
anything.
If you hate everything, don't go see the movie and
I
then
know.
go sit in your dark home.
Oh.
So, with that being said, anything to plug this week, Rob?
I just like, rate, review as always. Go visit Ryan in Boston. He's got a bad view. He needs some cheering up.
Yeah.
Ryan, anything to plug today? Anything you got going on?
I have a bad view. I don't want to talk about it.
All right, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe, follow. Brutally Honest Reviews, only on the Brutally Honest Network. Stay tuned. We got a couple more reviews, a couple more shows coming soon. And then check out Hop Top Films. We got about 6 or 7 short films coming out in October. Eventually, come check them out.
Vega.
What Happens in Vega, which Mark is in, which mostly did green screen in this studio. You don't see the green screen because that's a poster, because it's a poster. If you think it should be green, you're an idiot.
Is that what all the cum stains were?
Mark, anything to plug today? I just started a new Instagram for my acting career, and you can follow me at Mark_. Is it underscore? Underscore Haggett. HAGGETT. That's about all I got.
Cool. Have a good week. Check us out next week or this week. I don't know what's coming out yet because we were recording this in advance. But we are putting out 2 shows very, very, very soon. Stay tuned. Have a good week. Peace.